The key insight is that to be powerful, a new management approach needs to be connected to the P&L. The P&L is the universal language for performance measurement. It is controllable, it is auditable. It is also related to incentives and bonuses. If we manage to change the construction of the P&L, we can change the perspective, the decisions, and the performance. Now, when we're talking about the P&L, we need to be clear there is not only one P&L in the business. In fact, we have two different types of P&L. And if we look at the bottom of this page to start with, there's the external P&L, the official P&L that public companies issue and release and publish and file once a year or once a quarter. So that P&L is built according to international accounting standards, US GAAP in the United States, IFRS in other parts of the world. And those accounting standards are going to evolve ultimately, but not fast. It will take a long time before these accounting standards evolve to take into account these external capital issues. What we think we can change now, and that's the upper part on this page, is the internal management accounts that we use in the day-to-day in the business to measure and report performance. This P&L is much more flexible. And it's difficult if you think about, really this challenge of, can we create this connection between, on one side, those, economics of mutuality issues that are about external, human, social, natural capitals, and create a connection between this and the P&L, when if you really think about it, you see that it's actually a long list of problems. It's very difficult to do. Think about the mindset of accounting. Accounting is fundamentally focused on the inside of the business. It's focused on what the business owns, the assets, and what the business owes to someone else, the liabilities. It's focused on trying to draw an exhaustive list of these assets and liabilities as exactly as possible. Everything is expressed in dollar terms, in monetary value. So that's the world of accounting. On the other side, if you think about economics of mutuality, if you think about the human, social, natural capitals, it's actually pretty much the opposite. So we are talking about something which is outside. It doesn't belong to anybody. But everybody has access to it. It's a shared resource. Now, the good news is with all the work we've been doing in the past few months, we've found very interesting sources of inspiration, telling us that there can be a solution to overcome those challenges. The first one at the top of this page is coming from the academic research and the work done by Colin Mayer and Richard Barker from Oxford. So that's the concept of the sustainable P&L. The big idea here is to say that the P&L, as we see it normally, is not complete in the case of businesses that actually have a negative impact on the natural environment. If your business is actually, in the normal course of action, causing a form of pollution to the environment or a depletion of natural resource, and if you don't pay for it, actually your P&L is not complete. You don't see the cost in your P&L, you continue having a negative impact on the environment until the moment where you can't do business anymore because there is no resource anymore. So that's actually a very dangerous situation. And this concept of sustainable P&L is saying that you can extend your P&L to include the cost of these natural resources that you are consuming even if you're not paying for it. That's actually a hypothetical replenishment cost that can be added to your P&L to show the true profitability that can be sustained over time. So that's one source of inspiration, which is already very interesting. The other one is actually coming from our observation of the business as we do today. I'm going to use few examples here. There are situations where using just basic normal accounting standards, situations where you may be creating an intangible asset out of normal resources. In that case, the cost that you're spending to create these future intangible assets will be considered an investment and will not be considered an expense. And by making this change, you're actually improving the presentation of your operating P&L significantly. So what is the model that we have in mind for this mutual P&L? Again, we want to go back to this element of ecosystem mapping and this analysis of the key pain point, and from there, we think we can have a short list of really big issues which are connected to natural, social, human interdependencies that the business identifies really are the top issues that have an impact on the external world, but also an impact on the strategy. From this short list of top issues, we think we can have two types of situation. Very much as we said before, there will be one category which is more about capital depletion issue, the right part on this page, and one other type of situation which is about capital creation issue. So let's talk about these two types of issues to let you understand what we have in mind. So to start with the capital depletion issue, that would be a situation where the business actually consumes external resources without knowing, without paying for it. The idea is to internalize the cost of this external resource using the concept of hypothetical replenishment costs. So by showing the costs in your operating P&L, even if it's hypothetical, even if you don't pay for it today, you are creating a new context where everybody in your organization who is concerned with the operating P&L will have an incentive to reduce the damage, to reduce the pollution, or to find a solution to address this issue. Incentive to do less damage. Now, let's talk about the second type of situations, which is on the green side of this page. That's a situation of capital creation initiatives. Very similar to what we do with MAWA in Kenya. It is about a business which is proactively taking an initiative to do something that will do two things. That will do good for the external world in terms of human, natural, social capitals, and also create a new profitable business inside. Usually to do this, you need to start by paying some costs that you wouldn't normally pay for in the normal course of business. But if this initial cost, if this initial on-cost results in the creation of positive external capital, they should be treated as an investment and not as an operating expense. These costs will be removed actually from the operating P&L and considered an investment.